This is the Drunk Busters Impairment Goggle. It simulates a blood alcohol level of roughly between a 0.08 and a 0.15. You know, regardless of how many times you've worn these, you still can't master the goggles. And you can see again where I got to, but I overshot it a little bit off to the side. I had to recover and come back to it. I started Drunk Busters almost 20 years ago, back in 1995. Basically, when you put the Drunk Busters goggles on, you experience what it's like to be impaired, and yet you're sober enough to know how bad you really are. For me, it became a real passion when I first started working in law enforcement. Every fatal crash I ever had, the driver was impaired. Most of the serious injury crashes, the driver was impaired. Had to do a couple of death notifications in my career. You get real tired of knocking on doors at 4 o'clock in the morning, total strangers, and telling somebody that a loved one is not going to be coming home because they've been killed in an alcohol-related crash. You know, our goal is to just get people to make some better choices. The chronic repeat offenders, it's tough to crack that, okay? You know, there are those that advocate just locking them up and putting them away, but you still have to try. But, you know, the statistics statewide and nationally show that the vast majority of alcohol-related crashes are caused by first-time offenders. So if we get people to just make a better choice, instead of having 5 beers, maybe they have 2 beers for their Friday night fish fry.
Too many times in life we learn something, and you know, if you learn something and you don't share it with somebody, then it does no good to learn it.
We meet with parents who've lost their kids, died from overdoses, or are now in prison or in jail because of it, and they've, you know, technically lost their child.